should be, oh, I guess I'm still morning in Mountain Standard Time. 5 more minutes. So my morning gathering of my morning get together to share my cards, my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards that will be released hopefully soon. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am just bringing up on my phone uh, and just getting myself settled in here. There's a delay in the phone and what's on screen. So I love to be able to read the messages from here. Good morning, Colleen. I just want to make sure that I'm here. That I'm here with you in this live. So if you're watching, good morning, Felicia. So if you're watching and you're new, then these mornings that you're seeing me show up and people are, I'm often getting, how come you're not pulling cards no more? How come you're not doing mediumship? Well, I will be. I will be back doing all of that. I'm sharing my work. I'm taking some time to, I get this all the time. I'm always getting asked, why do I not ever celebrate me, celebrate my successes or my wins? And so, and I always say, because it's just one more thing, and I just keep going and I just keep doing. Well, I decided to celebrate my style, how I would find a way to celebrate things that I've accomplished. So one of the big things that I have been accomplishing that has been flowing through me for several years is my deck of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. I followed a call. I was listening. I heard the message loud and clear to create these and how they would be created. And so I trusted the journey. And so my way of celebrating is to celebrate through my work by sharing my work. And that's how I love to celebrate. So I wanted to share the cards before they're ever published, before they go out to the public. They are in beta testing right now. And so every single morning or afternoon, whenever I have time, I come in here and I share one card from the deck. What's been happening the past few weeks or the past few cards is the cards kind of want to give you more of a peek. So I've been sharing more of a reading. So I do it as a general reading, but I also, the other why was that I really feel in the mediumship when I come in and I pick and choose people that are chosen for readings, a lot of people leave feeling sad. So you come in to be inspired, to feel good, to feel happy about yourself. And then you leave with this feeling of, well, once again, I didn't get chosen. Once again, I didn't get chosen. This way, everybody is getting chosen. This way, everyone gets a reading and how it resonates with you. And because the cards are for everyone, they're made of the feminine, like the divine feminine energy, but they also have a lot of masculine energy in it as well. So the cards are created so that they are about our attitude, they're about readjustment, alignment, about understanding the essence of being able to move beyond our shadow, right? Oh God, hold on. I just want to make sure that I often will get some, I just want to be sure that of what I get in here, because sometimes I'm getting some, if you see a message come up on your screen, sorry, I'm just stopping for a moment. If you see a message pop up underneath your name and it says, if you want a reading, click on this, don't click it. And if you get a message saying that I'm requesting a friend request from me, never ever will you receive a friend request from me ever. So don't answer that, and I will never ask you for money. So don't ever answer those messages, okay? They are spreading everywhere, and I'm like, it's so amazing how we can be so censored, and they're so, we get so policed in so many ways, us that are out there trying to do good, but all of this criminal activity, this scamming, and all of this spamming onto people's lives and destroying people's businesses is allowed to happen. So, please be aware, we try to catch it as fast as it goes up. We watch this page vigilantly. We are watching all the time. I mean, we have to go to sleep, so there's times we can't catch this in action. So if you see it happening, that's what's happening. Whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, both get hit with it. We'll try our best. So just bear with us. Right. And so just bear with us. Please just know that we'll catch it as fast as we can, but don't click on it and don't accept those requests, because that would never be me, ever. So, but our card of the day So this is my deck of oracle cards. And if you're brand new and you haven't been here before, the Everyday Goddess Oracle, the pink, I never know where I'm pointing, the pink box, the pink picture on the wall is the box cover. She is also card number 1. Her name is Grace in the oracle cards, and this is the it's from the Shadows is the series of the cards. It all goes. See, look, and there it comes. I knew it was coming. I was just waiting. I could feel it coming in. So see, crown light, block crown light right now. Don't click on it, anybody. Don't anybody touch it. I'm trying to get it out of here. Right here she is. I could feel it coming in. I already got the heads up. I knew it was coming. So why is it not letting me get this out? Hold on. I got to go in another way. Bear with me. Don't anybody touch it. Don't anybody touch it. Don't touch this crown light. I'm getting rid of it this way. I don't have anyone in with me today, so okay. Okay, I got her crowned. Don't anybody click on it if it's still up on your page. For some reason, it wouldn't let me get it on my phone through my page. I had to go out and go back in. So I knew it was on the way. I could feel it coming. Like, see, I have no idea how this is allowed, how this gets away. We report this, we report it, and we've been pretty much told that they're not really doing anything wrong, da da da. So there. Yeah. So we're back. We're back. We're back. Let's clear that energy out of here. Let's wrap and surround this session, the rest of the session, in beautiful love and light, and not to allow that kind of, let's not allow that kind of energy to, I call that the imposter light. There's so much of that happening all the way around us. Don't let that interfere in the good things that we're trying to do in life. The big thing that my work is really focused on right now is, I'm really focusing on the dignity of humanity and the power of staying in that middle row. So, um, yeah, exactly, Claire, right? Yeah, they can do that, but if we do one thing, and so it's like, so I'm trying to, yep, it is, yeah, and Facebook will, even when somebody even had a page of hate, a whole page of hate up against me, Facebook would not touch it. So it took a long time, a lot of fighting with Facebook for it to be taken down. Yeah. So I'm like, so my journey is to stay. I always say, if you don't walk the middle road, you will go to extremes, right? And I don't want to go to extremes. I don't want to, I'm like, I don't want to go. I try to stay right where I am. So this is back to the, we're not going to give it any more attention than we have to give it. It is what it is. And we'll just stay in the love and light and just keep giving that love and light. Our card of the day, our card of the day is eternal. It's eternal, and her name is Miyamura, and this is love, and so it is about eternal love, and so when I wrote about her, I called her the ultimate relationship. So it is your ultimate relationship, the most powerful relationship you'll ever have. And so when I started this journey way back, and I started doing shadow work and doing healing work and coming inner child healing, inner young adult healing, emotional immaturity, or spiritual immaturity, all of those things that, the places where we get stunted or where we're operating from. Um, and so, right, yeah, it is so sad, but it all kind of works itself out. That's my thing. Hi, Tanya. Nice to see you back in here as well. Welcome to everybody who's joining. Our room is really filling up today. So there's a lot of energy coming in now. I am broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So you may be on one or the other and wondering who I'm speaking to. You don't see the name. It's because I'm on both at the same time. And so um, and so back to the ultimate relationship. And so all my work between the shadow work and the spiritually maturing and moving beyond that point of when we got stunted in our growth, in our healing, in our journey, in our growing up. And so from the shadows became such a big part because we don't realize how much of our lives we are not living from our true self. And so a big part of shadow work is recognizing that the shadow, when I speak of shadow, is that you also speak of the things that are left on us, the unseen wounds or the seen wounds. So the unseen wounds is our attitude, it's our dishonesty with ourselves, it's what we become loyal to, what we become extremist about. All of those are like they start as the unseen that then become very seen because it becomes our attitude that be shown, our desires and desperation to get things our way, becoming very defensive, offended by everything, that we don't have an open mind, we close our mind off. And of course, we're seeing a whole world behave that way right now. And so hopefully I'm praying that I seen a shift in energy last night in my meditation. So I seen a shift in energy and I seen a big shift in energy. And whether it's just my energy or there's a crack, I feel like the old foundational crack in the energy that's been around is like there's a crack and there's light getting back in. And so when I speak of healing through, like, you can't heal, you can learn to accept your shadow self, you can learn to accept those parts of you, but you will never heal in those. So it's the same thing as having a wound. So the unseen turns into seen wounds. And so when you can see something on your skin, when you can see yourself hurt, when you can see that you have a big scar, you ended up with heart surgery, you end up like with these type of things, is that when it forms, when our hurt, our pain, and our misery, and all of the things that we have experienced become so burdened on us that it causes us extreme pain. So within the body, like back pain is carrying the weight of the world. Your organs, which would be your detox organs, those carry the angers, the frustrations, sinus. Same thing is like when you keep stifling back, like you keep holding your emotions in, and all of this emotions get in there. And so that means that we're having a relationship with the unhealthiest parts of ourselves. We're having a relationship with with the energy of somebody else's words, thoughts, opinions that form then into a full-blown material. Like we create something within ourselves, or something creates within us, that then we start to have a relationship with. And so the more that we try to heal, the more that we put our focus into healing that physical, instead of healing everything that had taken us to be into that physical point. So when I started when I got really serious about my healing journey, and I stopped being so angry that there was things within me that probably would never be healed, I changed my view. And I didn't just change my view of my perspective of who I would speak to and who I would go to. I stopped asking my shadow self. I stopped asking the old parts of me or the people, why did you allow, like, why did you do this to me? Or why is this happening to me? Why do I have this? And I started to ask the light, right? I start to ask the light of the God consciousness, or the angels, or the spirit. I don't care what you call it, the sun, moon, the stars. I start to ask something beyond me, higher than me, that is also inside of me, that could communicate back and forth, and just say, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I keep allowing in my life? What is it that I keep accepting as truth? What is it that I keep doing? And the moment I started that, I could feel this lightness inside of me. I could feel things starting to leave my body that put pressure on me, that weighed me down, that I kept trying to stifle and hide into. And so when I recognized the eternal light, that my life as in the spirit life that's inside is eternal. It had so much wisdom and knowledge to share with me. If I stopped allowing the human, the shadows, the all the stories that had attached to me to be the places that I reached for, or that I reached for in somebody else. Why would I ask somebody who was very unhealed why they were existing the way they were, why they were doing this? They have no idea, because they're still living in that one dimensional, we call, still connecting and hoping for the material, the matter world to be the change, right? And so when we start to be able to move beyond this, when you start to have a relationship, not with your human self, you recognizing your human self, when you start to have a relationship with all parts of you, so you have a relationship with the human, with understanding the human, with understanding the human is not as old as the rest of this. You start to have a relationship with this, you start to have a relationship with the spirit and self, and you start to have a relationship with something that's even more intelligent and more brighter than all of us, and that is the light, embodying light. And so it's amazing how you can take the invisible energy, so somebody's words, which only have the power that you allow it to have, the energy that's in it. And you can let somebody's words impact you so much that it can destroy your life, right? And so all of that. So if you could believe in that, if you can believe in that, that's invisible, then why can't you believe? Why can't you believe in the light? Why can't you believe in the good about you? Why can't you believe in something you can't see? And you say, well, that's just stupid. How would I believe in something that's outside of me? Well, if you believe you have a breath and you get to breathe, and without this breath, you will not be here. Well, it's the same thing, is that breath is connected. And so every time you take that breath and you breathe back, is that you start to have a relationship, a connection to something bigger. And that's when our changes start to happen. And so, my love. And so, if you start to speak to yourself, if you start to allow your inner self to speak, say, my love, listen, my love, if you would just listen to me today, my love, you know you're being loved today. You know you're being watched today. You know you're being divinely guided today. So, in a lot of that work, is if you learn to speak to yourself as kind as you would speak to, say, a little innocent little child who's looking at you with doe eyes, like that little pitiful little eyes, and they're looking at you. Now, if you looked at yourself as that and you give yourself the same love and compassion, you're starting a beautiful relationship. And I know some of these words may feel like they're on repeat. Well, because every single card in this deck, everything that's in when we're in our shadow self, all comes from the lack of sense, the fear of, the insecurity of something of the past that we keep holding as if it has the energy of life, including the illnesses in our body. The biggest illness that we have in the world is conditioning, right? And we're so conditioned, and that we're so manipulated by the conditioning. And so if we learn to treat the conditioning, and it's not so much even about the foods, it's about conditioning. If we learn to treat conditioning, and if we can uncondition, if we can uncondition, if we can deprogram, if we can uncondition from all of that, we can start to move into unconditional love. And that's when we start to be able to make the biggest change. So I always say, go deeper than the first story you give me. The first statement you give me will always be tied to some sort of emotional connection. Go deeper. Tell me something deeper. Because by going deeper is that you're allowing yourself to go into beyond even what your whole body, your muscles, your muscle memory, your everything. Go deeper than that. Go beyond that. Ask your soul self. Ask your soul self to connect to this self, and then answer me. Give yourself time to contemplate that answer. Think that answer through by sitting in meditation, sitting in pause, sitting in breath work, closing your eyes, looking up to your third eye. What is it? What is the real truth? What is it I need to really know? What is really holding me back? Because when we say, oh, this is holding me back, this person's holding me back, I would be in this place in my life if it wasn't for this person and that person. I would be at this stage or this place in my life if I had not allowed, if I did not believe, if I did not connect, if I had have rejected, if I had to have learned to said no. And so the more deeper you get, that's where we start to, without kind of beating ourselves up, to say, hey, God, I really was disconnected. I've been really disconnected. Where are you connecting to? And here we go again, back again. And so where are we connecting to? What is that, you know, where's your truth? Where's your story? Where's your storyline connecting from? Right? And so I'm just getting rid of this new asshole in here. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Okay. Another one out. Yeah, got that one. I have to keep changing phones over to get rid of them. And so eternal, right? And so when you look at this beautiful card, she's an 18. She's also she's also, 18 could be 8 plus 1 could be 9. So when you look at a number, do you take it as a matter of fact that it's just a number, 18? Or do you change it to be something more magical, right? So it's like when you take something at face value, you look at something, you say, "Oh, that's just that person," or "I'm just that person." Well, what if you changed your perspective? What if you communicated with something outside of yourself a little bit and ask your higher self, the part that's not connected to your human being, your soul self, your soul connection? Well, what can I really, what do I have magical about myself? Or what is my magical connections? And so that's like numerology and changing numbers. So 8 subtract 1 can be a 7. Well, now we got to so if I just said to you 18, you're going to be like, "Oh, well, that's not a very magical number." But I've said to you 9, and 9 is the power of threes, which is also the Trinity. So without knowing, this card is also the Trinity. It is the power of 3. It is the ultimate relationship that you will ever have that brings you into alignment. And so when we're built on stories and we go all the way to one extreme to the other extreme, like we're either in this, like, we hit all the way down here, or we try to be totally extremist, is that we don't find that middle ground. And when we don't strengthen that middle ground, is that something is going to break and bend and we collapse over onto ourselves. And so the Trinity is about being centered. It is about being, walking that middle road, being in that middle, not being so extreme, but allowing, not trying to force. It's about allowing. And then it's also a 7, right? And so then you got this beautiful 7 energy, and you got the 7 keys, the 7 spiritual laws, the power of 7. It is when you really receive that ultimate next step, that ultimate. So 7 is also in the crown chakra, is the spiritual connection, the spiritual awakening is when you turn that key. And so when you start to be able to turn that, so which place are we in? Are you in that alignment? Are you in that 7 spiritual keys? It's different language. We all speak a different language, but we're all seeking and searching the same thing. But it's learning that you're not going to receive that. You're not going to get that. You're not going to be able to heal by talking to the pain. You're not going to be able to heal by talking to the physical ailment that's in your body, or by folks on I'm broken, I'm injured, I'm no good to anybody. What good can I be if I'm this damaged? That's not helping. You got to, how can this experience be of service to me? What is it that, what is this experience teaching me? So many ways. And also, when you look at this beautiful card and you see her rising, like she's riding the wave, so she's in the flow. In order to be in the flow, it means we have to let go. You notice her hands are back, she's wide open, she's vulnerable, she's exposed, her light is showing. Her light is connected to a necklace, so it is, and she's also riding a turtle that knows all about protection, longevity, what it takes to sustain life. And so you're riding the wave of life. So when you start to ride the wave, you know you are divinely protected. And when you understand being divinely protected, divine communication, divine, that divine connection, that soul connection, is that you move away from trying to force life. You move away from all parts that take you to the extreme of everything. So even in a storm, even in the hard times, the dark times, there is still a light. And that light is always there. We believe the light to be gone. We disconnect from the light. We think we don't have our light. We think we've given our light away. We feel like we failed ourselves. This is not possible. All those things that get in the way. The blue really truly represents communication. And so people often think, well, I got to learn to be able to open my throat, expand my throat, be able to speak more. Well, your ears are also a huge part of communication. Sometimes it means go silent. You're going to get your best. You're going to hear what you need to hear. You're going to receive your most loving message in silence. In silence. The hours that I spend in silence and not asking nothing, just allowing, I surrender over the best parts of me. Even the parts I love the most, I surrender over, because the parts that I love the most or that I identify the most doesn't mean it's not a part of the shadow of me. It doesn't mean that it's serving the highest good. The parts that sometimes I love the most may be my most crippling parts to who I need to be. I am here to be who I need to be. I surrender over the parts that I have such a claim to fame that I hold on to. And one of my biggest ones that I had to surrender over was, oh, I just want to be there for everybody. I just want to be of service to everybody. I love being of service to people. I love to help people. I love to be available to people. How crippling is that? When you truly put every bit of that conviction, love, and light into being of service to everyone else, but you just told one of the biggest lies in the world. Because you say, I'm of service to everybody. I'm of service to everyone. But you're the one who was not you're being of service to. So in the meantime, you're of service to everyone. You love to help everyone. You love to be kind to everyone. But you're mistreating yourself. You're not loyal to you. You're even loyal to people who are not loyal to you. You are unkind to you by allowing people who are unkind to you to even stay in your life, by justifying and explaining, oh, but they're family and I can't delete them out of my life. I can't remove them out of my life. I used to feel so sad that some of the people that were family members that I used to, admire, and then it became that I was like, so why are they deleting me? Why do they not like me? I just want to be liked. I just want to be loved. And I'm like, why don't you just like yourself? Why don't you just fall in love with yourself? So when I was saying that I want to be of service to everybody, I was not of service to myself. Everything that was happening within me that had turned to matter, that had turned into some sort of pain story, was all from an invisible energy that was all based on service, all based on those things of me wanting to be available, wanting me to be the good girl, wanting me to be liked. All of those things truly impacted and became crippling, became back issues, became other problems, became the neurological. And so when you stop fixing, yes, exactly, when you stop trying to fix that, but also not just fixing, when you stop trying to be or when you start to recognize when you recognize all the little lies we tell to ourselves in trying to convince people of these good things. So when you're surrendering over, you surrender over even the things that you call the best parts of you. Because ultimately it was still feeding and fueling the shadow. It was still feeding and fueling my fears and insecurities. And I was never going to be able to fully embrace the connection to that relationship that I needed to have by having fear of the invisible world. And in order to be able to have that full healthy relationship, I had to set it all free. Whatever I need to be, give me the strength, the courage, show me the way, show me, guide me through the way. Who was I speaking to when I was saying that? I was speaking to the light, embodying light, living within that light essence. And so that's, it's a big thing and it's hard to understand this sometimes. And you got to be able to go through, this is a journey. So you have to remember, I've been at this for a lot of years. If you're brand new in here and you're just starting, like, I don't get this, this just don't make sense to me. Well, once you've heard it and it's now imprinted kind of in you that way, you'll think of this because every time you go to turn away from yourself, or every time you find yourself going, oh, I don't feel well. Oh, I feel exhausted. Oh, my energy is gone. Well, every time you say that, you have turned away from you. You have literally turned away from you. You are actually trying to use you as the vessel for the healing. You're trying to use you. You're trying to say that you're the person you're the one that is the vessel for helping others. We are bamboo shoots. I'm a messenger. And so the bamboo shoot is what I allow to flow through me. So a part of communication and the blue in this is also about learning that in silence you discover so much more about yourself. The back of your neck is, but there's a big part in communication. So when we talk about opening the throat chakra, we think of thyroid. You don't ever think about your tongue, what you unleash from the tongue. And when the tongue is unleashed, is it going to unleash a fury from the darkness, or is it going to embody the light and speak from a place of light and love? And even so much if you're trying to like get that message across, that you're trying to give a dig, you're trying to stick a dagger into somebody else through your words, but I call it that, those are passive aggressive words. So many people have that, oh, I really, really like you, but you know, and that kind of, that passive aggressive, or you hand out that message that, you're in a group of friends and you give out that message that is directed to one person, but you don't have the guts and the courage to speak to that one person and say, hey, I felt very uncomfortable, or I felt very hurt by that experience. Instead, you wait until you're in a group and you just dig that in, and that person knows you're talking about them. But instead of communicating, instead of speaking, then you've now created not just your hurt, their hurt. Everyone else is wondering if it's them. And is that about me? And all these insecurities and fears then become ripple. So the whole circle becomes a part of that. So then you feel at home because now everyone else is feeling that way. And so that tongue has so much power. There's so much power. What are you powering up on? What powers that wave? What powers that energy? Is it a fear story? Is it anger? Is it frustration? What is powering it up? Or is it love? When you learn the power of love, when you've never had love, you don't know love. But when you're searching for love in relationships, when you've never known love, then you're never going to understand it until you learn to fall in love with self. And I don't mean the pride of self, the physical body by dressing pretty. I mean by understanding that the best parts of you, when you can let them go, you become all of who you are meant to be. When you start to embody that light. So this beautiful card and being eternal is that, we will have a period of time in this human shell. And what are we going to do? We don't have forever in that human shell. We believe we do. We believe we have all the time in the world, or we believe that this world is in my hands. I get to control it. And, the statement of, oh, the world is yours to create. The universe is yours to create, only to a certain degree. It's giving you doors of opportunities, but it also gives you moments of when you think that it's all about, that it's all you, that you've done all the work, or that you're the only person in the world, or anything like that, that you come crashing, and that wave will crash, because if it's not sustained on healthy love and energy, it will crash, and they give you another opportunity until they run out. And so the light inside of us may be eternal, but your human existence has a time. And so do you wait to leave this earth in order to live a beautiful life, or do you live it now while you're here? Do you take the moment to create beauty and awe, and to think about those words, process what you're going to say, allow yourself to ask higher self instead of asking your head or your past experiences of what is truly going on, right? Yeah. And so this is my beautiful Ride the Wave card of eternal. And I always thought she was going to be called Ride the Wave. And when it came time to start putting the card together, she became eternal, which was a big change from where we thought she was going to be. And this is what she looked like a few days ago. And as you can see now, she's in the mother energy. Right? You have to take the action steps. That's when magic and miracles happen. Your human has legs to walk. Your humans is we are the most intelligent of the material world of species for a reason, so that we have those opportunities. You have legs to walk, and it's your job to walk towards. But it's not your job. You're not your job to think that you are the only person or the only power or the only right thought, the only right opinion, that the world is more than you. And so it's also about, the voice of the ocean led by the heart, or leads by the heart. And so a big part of Mother Earth is her ocean. A big part of Mother Earth is oceans. And do you see all the life that's in the ocean? And one species in that ocean doesn't say, oh, I own it all and it's all mine. They share, they coexist, they live together, they ride through the storms, the weather, and they understand how the cycle of life goes. But they also create and they help each other and they feed off each other. Everything works in alignment, right? Because there is no ego, right? And there's no ego, and that ego also takes us. So one person's ego leads to conditioning onto another, and a conditioning onto another, and then that takes us into our shadows. A whole lot of work. And so being able to go with the flow, being able to trust the cycles and the pattern of life, that what, you can't stop the inevitable. You can't stop someone from leaving this earth. You can't change what is destined. And so there's some things and you can try to go many directions and do many things, and it will not work. This is also a very good card of looking at the tipping point. When we're at the tipping point, when you're at that critical point where everything just kind of compounds so much on either side, and something has to break. There has to be a break. And when things breaks, there's destruction, things fall apart, we collapse, we fall over. But that's also an opportunity. So do you stay in the rubble? Do you stay under the water? Do you stay floating around in the water because the wave went? Does a surfer just say, oh, I'm done now because I missed the one wave, or the one wave crashed? No, you get up, you stand up, you get back on your board of life, you stand back up, you get going again, and you ride the next wave. And so those moments will be there, right? Yes, 75% is ocean. Thank you, Franz. I was trying to remember. I'm like, is it 70? Is it 80? I couldn't remember the exact number. When I'm doing this, it's like I forget the most basic things. And so, oh God, don't anybody answer. We got that energy in here again. It's just, they're just riding around today, aren't they? Let me get rid of this. Some days it goes 7, 8 times. It's crazy. But and so it's, if we allow those moments, so those moments when we're down, when things are falling, you give yourself time through that process. You got to give yourself grieving time, you got to give yourself resting time, you have to give yourself contemplation time. All of those things that we do, right? That one's gone again. So all of those things that we do in life to, that we keep not, or we not allow ourselves to have, like a sad day, like a grieving, like time to grieve. That's all pushing ourselves to just keep going and going and going and going. The day will come when you keep going and going and going where you will crash. And trust me, I crashed and I burned and I fell down and I had to get back up again. But I knew I was never going to be the same person again. And the biggest thing that we have in life is that we keep trying to, this is where I talk about trying to heal through our human, is that we keep trying to go back being the same person that we used to be. It's like trying to get healthy and you say, I want to look like I did this like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's the same thing. So you're trying to heal through your human. You're trying to be somebody you used to be. You're trying to be somebody that you think you should be. When you let go of all of this and allow yourself to be who you need to be. Who do I need to be for the next stage of my life? What do I need in my life for the next part of my life? What do I need to let go of? What changes need to be made? What what clarity? And once you start to gain clarity, and clarity means, often when we got clarity is that you're not so wishy-washy, but you're trusting. And when you start to trust, you start to say, I just heard just do this. And so after Christmas, I just heard write the fifth book. Write the book, and that will come out next. That'll come out before your other books. And I'm like, but the other books have been sitting here for a couple years written. No, that's not the book. This book, we want you to write this book. We want you to put out this book. So I literally sat and started to write that book. I didn't know what it was going to be about. I didn't know how it's going to unfold, but I let it unfold. And so letting that happen and letting life unfold has truly taken me to right here. And that's what you have to trust. Just trust that journey. Trust where you're going. And we've spent a long time talking about one card today. So this card takes up a lot of space. And so love literally takes up a lot of space. And sadly, so does the negative energy. So when negative energy can take up just as much space as the light energy. And when we live so much in the negative, in the darker energy, in the fear stories, we truly start to believe that that's our light and that's our happiness. And we don't know the difference until something shows us an even brighter light. And we believe that to be true. Well, life's just full of misery. I'm just destined to be this life. Oh, that's just, all relationships are like this. All people are like this. And so I accept it. I accept that this is how our lives will always be. That's not true. Right. And so that's the truth that you tell yourself. 70%. So I was going right. Couldn't remember it was 70 or 80. And so we kind of start to, we want to remember, we want to be able to stay into our stories. So we accept that the negative, the darkness, the shadows of the stories is our truth. It is real. It is light. It's lighting up our lives and it's making us happy. We convince ourselves of that until we see some sort of spark. It's like being in a crappy relationship, and then all of a sudden this one person comes in and shows you some love, shows you some attention. You're like, oh my God, I need that now. And so then you leave all of this and you go jump on that ship, but you're feeding off of that light. Well, when you go to that light, that's still not your light. That's you chasing somebody else's light. That's you chasing somebody else's energy. And they want you to have that. But two people can't live off the one light. You got to create your happiness, your joy. So if your life is that, if you're that energy and you're trying to convince yourself, no matter what you try, it's like, oh no, my life is all good, my life's all great, but it's really not. And you're sick and you don't feel well and you don't want to go home. There's things to explore, but you're also not responsible for brightening somebody else, for providing somebody else the light. Everyone has their own, and they all have to find it. And so see how much time we could spend in the love and in that light. Well, just think, flip it the other side. You can spend a lifetime in the dark and in the negative and convince yourself that that's good enough, that that's enough. That's just existing. That's what just existing was written about. That's what more than existing was written about. It was all the years that I spent still, having moments of good, happy thoughts. But when the majority, like the amount of water that's on the earth, when the majority of your life is based on the shadow, the fears, the darkness, that stuff, that the negative aspect of it, and not the positive, or you feel like if I just got 30% more, like if I just got 30% light and 70% of the darkness, I'm all good. No. That's never going to take you to the life of more than existing. It's creating, where can I bring light into my life? Where can I, and the more you bring light into your life, the more that you heal, the more that your body, now you may be left with some permanent body scars and some permanent, like little things like decayed disc but the pain is not as severe. The time that you spend down is not as severe because your focus is not on the dark and the negative. Your focus is not on the pain. Your focus is on really, truly embracing every day, every moment of seeking and searching out the magic and the love and the light of life. And when your days are built on seeking and searching out all of that, you no longer want anyone else's. You're not envious, you're not jealous, you're not so offended by the world. You don't have such a desire to be so extreme about anything. You create the balance and you have trust and faith that things will come around. There has to be a tipping point. And when that tipping point happens, you don't have to run around saying, I told you so. I told you so. People already know so, because then people are living with the effects of what they've contributed to within their own lives. And they very much know they don't need reminders. We don't need reminders of the past, of what we've done in the past. We accepted it. We accept it. We know what we do, and we just we allow ourselves to grow and evolve. And so, last card to validate this, and then I gotta go, is this is the wisdom of the elders. This is our validation card of the day. And this is Nugimi. And we've already seen her a few days ago. This is grandmother spirit in Mi'kmaq. And I know somebody, if they're Mi'kmaq that's watching, say, you don't know how to say it. Well, I don't speak the language, but I'm trying to learn the language, trying to learn words, but we don't pronounce the K. We pronounce the K as G's. And so it has a whole different sound. So it's grandmother energy. So she's crone. So we have Myanmar, who is the mother energy, but she's almost, she's realizing that if she just goes with the flow, she rides the wave, she's good, she's divinely protected, she's going to make it into that crone energy. She's getting there. And then over here we have the beautiful Nugimi energy. And so it's admiring and being inspired by that crone energy, by being inspired by the wisdom, about knowing that they do know something, they have something, but they're also willing to sometimes listen. A true crone energy is also willing to have an open mind, to be able to listen, to know that the youth, the younger generations, those coming after also have wisdom, because they live in a different era and a different time. So there's a lot of shared. And so when you can learn to share, but you can see, it's like when we pull that card, I always say, when you pull that card, it's not because you're the new Kimi. It's not because, it's not about the big picture. It's about seeing yourself as the small one, that we still have so much to learn, so much to gain, so much wisdom. And no matter how much I know and how much I've studied and how much I've gained in writing and the wisdom and that I channel, is I always say, I live as if I know nothing. The most beautiful thing that I wake up to every morning as a healer, as a master healer, as a master in a lot of my training, is that I don't look at it as a title. I look at it as an opportunity to wake up every day with the ability that I no longer have so much attachment to desired outcomes or wanting to be somebody or wanting to be anybody special, to actually see myself as small, to see myself as worthy of having everything, but also knowing, how much there is to know, how much there is to learn. So I wake up, like, if I wake up every day and live as if I know nothing, I have the opportunity to learn, and I have the opportunity to grow. And so when you truly start to be able to set yourself free, when you truly be able to step away and see yourself as this, either one of these cards is divinely protected. You can see the beautiful wings. So our ancestors, the spirit guides, they're all wrapping their love around us. The animals, the spirit animals, Mother Earth, all also divinely protecting us. So we are divinely protected from above, from below. So why do we not communicate? Why do we not connect? Why do we ask? Why do we keep asking just others, like, tell me what's wrong with me? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Why do we keep seeking and searching instead of going silent, allowing them to unfold so much of the healing journey for us? And it's such a beauty when you can allow yourself to be able to not have a desire to take light or to be so animated by somebody else's light, that I want to feel my own light. I want to live in my light. I want to live in the light of love. And when you start to live in the light of love, when you start to power up on the power of love, life is much more peaceful, much more content. And so there's much wisdom. You can have all the knowledge that you can get in the world and not have wisdom. And so knowing the difference is huge, right? Water and people. So 80% people, 80% of water in people, right? Yeah. Thanks, friends. So just looking back up through here. So I'm just looking up through a little bit. Yes, friends, I was definitely later today getting in. I have family here. We had some family health stuff we had to take care of today. Um, yeah, so not a whole, I think I've seen everything else that's come through there. Um, so when you see these cards and when if you're watching this later on today, is I say these cards being shared with you are an opportunity, and they're an opportunity for you to be able to sit with the card and to ask yourself today, what am I feeling when what is my, it's like looking at artwork. It's all subjective. So it's what does my heart feel when I look at this card today? So looking beyond the painting, looking beyond what does this make, what does this capture in my heart today? What does this make me feel today? What am I feeling from this card today? And to just allow yourself to pick up your pen and just write through and let yourself go with the flow. Don't try to force an answer. Don't try to force a thought. Allow the thought because when you start to let your we run on autopilot so much during life, and we allow our human to be on this autopilot. So this is kind of tapping into a deeper connection, a deeper. So if you look at these cards, is that you can see if you look deeper in, is that there's something very deep inside of them. They all kind of got some sort of like a deep seated energy that pulls you in through the energy. And that's the whole point, is to get you to pull in, to want to look at the card hard longer, to look deeper into the card. What else do I see in the card? There's a lot of beautiful little hidden things in those cards to be seen. And if you look at the wave has a beautiful fox. There's so many things to be seen. What do you see? And then if you find an animal, or you find something that, sometimes it's a strawberry, sometimes it's a, a ladybug, whatever it is, look up what it means. Look up what the spiritual meaning means. And you may be surprised what the message is for you today. So the messenger is, when they start to come through, they're also telling you to dive a little deeper, explore a little deeper of what those meanings mean for you. So much love. Thank you for being here. I got to go help get my mom ready to go back to the airport. And I have a friend coming to visit today. So we're masking up, but thank you for being here with me. And I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be later tomorrow. I will not be in early. I teach tomorrow, so I'll be in the afternoon, early afternoon, but I will be here. So thank you for being with me. I have a lot of paused energy today. Sorry, it's like there's a lot of thought going on today. I'm channeling through some messages over the last few days, but I'll hopefully share those in the next couple days with you. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.